Here. This is Lord Potato, and welcome back to another episode. Well, not another, but another what if. Okay, you see here, I had the fucking multiple ideas at once after what's it called? Well, rewatching one what if, and then I was like, huh. For that one April Fool what if that I had, yeah, you know what? I'm actually gonna not redo it because fuck that. That was an April Fool one. But no, I instead wanted to do a Boruto one since I was watching Boruto. It was kind of cringy as hell half the time, and yeah, like I'm watching what's it called? I'm on episode still on a hunger or something. Shit, it doesn't get any better for that. For Naruto just screaming, Master Shadow Cleanses to Boruto over here has to I don't know. It doesn't feel alright, like for Naruto. I don't fucking know. I just don't care. But of course, I'm gonna go do a Boruto what if. That's what I thought. I don't know. So of course, I'm here. Probably should just stop watching Boruto and go watch a fucking Fire Force because I am going to do two what ifs for Fire Force because one was one of my ideas and the other was actually Demon's idea. But yeah, those I just gotta go watch Fire Force season 2, so like 48 episodes of them. But whatever with that. Sorry, a burp. But other than that, go subscribe to Anime Sensei, Iconic What If, and Obito What If. Anime has uploaded, a Demon Slayer What If. I forgot what was it was What If Tanjiro was... Fuck. I forgot what was it, but yeah, go check out his new Demon Slayer one. But other than that, their links will be in the description. Mostly their channels, but yeah. But yeah, this is what if Boruto was a fire user. Now, yes, Boruto is gonna be very potent and very powerful in fire. Now, I mentioned his abilities, and it's gonna be it's gonna be different, like fire abilities from different animes into this kind of fire power that I'm gonna give Boruto. I want to say Naruto so bad for some reason, but Boruto. Now, of course, I know Boruto's highest infinity in the original canon was gonna be lightning, but for this, it's gonna be just fire. No, he's not a damn Uchiha, so don't comment on that. He's gonna have very special eyes that are gonna be similar to Benjimaru from Fire Force, but they're not gonna be. Well, I was thinking of doing the X and O. I'm still thinking, okay, but. He still is going to have the Jogan, don't worry about that. He's not going to have the Byakugan, no. But, let's begin. So, we go into Boruto when he was kind of meeting what's it called. Well, we're actually going to go through it. Kind of like a time skip of, Boruto kind of talking to Mitsuki. And, of course, kind of helping Sumire get away from that one creepy dude. I don't remember his goddamn name. I'll call him just a creepy dude. The stalker-looking ass dude. Of course, Boruto still beat his ass, yeah. And, of course, as well, we go into, like, the somewhat job interview or whatever the hell they are. Of course, as well, Boruto is with, Mitsuki and Shikadai. And, of course, this is where they got news of, like, Sumire getting hurt, but also someone getting hurt. Someone close to Boruto. No, not his mom, but his little sister. Of course, when Boruto heard about that, of course, seeing Sumire, he also went to go see another room, hearing about his little sister getting hurt. Of course, Hinata was there, and not there yet. She was trying to get to the hospital, but of course, Boruto was the closest one. Of course, this is where Boruto says, "Hey, Hinwari, are you okay?" Hinwari is kind of like her eyes are closed. Yeah, She's right now asleep. She wasn't as hurt as, she didn't get that hurt, but she did get hurt. Sumire, Hinawari was there when Sumire kind of used one of her, not one of, a dark chakra to try to control someone. And of course, Sumire was mostly the one to get hurt, but Hinawari was there. And of course, she still kind of got hurt. Of course, Boruto, when he was kind of talking to Hinawari, of course his friends and even Satoru was there. But yeah, to kind of see if Hinawari's okay or anything. And Boruto, he has his like fist clench right now, just tightening. He's right now angry. He's right now kind of like pissed. The fact that his little sister was hurt because of something. Of course, is where Boruto. He's so pissed. He's like, Hinawari. Hinawari. He's getting angrier. Of course, is where like kind of his what's it called? For some reason, well, his skin started getting hot. Of course, steam was kind of rolling off, but this is where Boruto, he just walks past his friends and all that. And Sora did try to call out for his name because she just saw how Boruto was pissed. But of course, we go into a time skip. Boruto's right now in the forest, kind of angry and pissed the fuck off. First of all, his sister was hurt. People that he kind of know a little bit, well, not know, what's it called? People that he knows, like Sumire, was hurt. He couldn't do anything. Doesn't know what to do. But yeah, he was just pissed. This is where, well, he's getting angry. He just says, damn it, I'm weak. I, I, oh, damn, no, worry. This is where he fully just gets angry enough in his eyes. Goes into, well, a dojutsu that he knows about. He's aware about his abilities. But this is where he combusts into blue flames and the blue flames goes up in the air. This is where Boruto's screaming right now, roaring right now in rage. This is where Boruto, he calms down finally. Of course, Boruto does not have like his skin kind of burn or anything. He's not, well, it's kind of not that burnt. But of course, steam just started coming off of him after the blue flame rage. He just combusts into blue flames. Now, Boruto knows that damn well he can control flames, but he never actually did kind of show anyone about it. Or, not blue flames, but mostly a bunch of different color flames. But yeah. Of course, this is where he's right now just tired and just kind of sleepy a little bit. But yeah, he's just tired. He was just too pissed and angry. Of course, this is where, well, Boruto, he was kind of tired. Of course, he decided to go back home. Of course, when he went home, Hinata wasn't there because she was right now at the hospital. And Boruto was kind of pissed. The fact that Hinawari got hurt. And whenever he's just so angry that he goes up to his room. And if he can find the person who did this, he's gonna murder them. He is right now in blind rage and anger. This is where Boruto, he noticed that Hinata's not here or Naruto. And of course, Hinawari is at the hospital right now. This is where Boruto goes up to his room. Kind of like goes into his closet. There's a lever that he just has. He kind of unlocks the lever. He kind of found this out because this house is somewhat like the Four Hokage's house and all that. This compartment of room was actually built kind of a long time ago, but since Naruto wasn't there living with his parents, no, that never happened, so he never found this. But Boruto did. Boruto opened this like compartment that was in his kind of closet. Kind of opening, well, like a kind of door. A door kind of like opens. And of course, this is where Boruto, he grabs, well, a box out of the compartment. Well, out of the compartment. A black robe he takes out. A black with kind of having kind of red flames on it. It kind of looks like, what's it called? The like, well, not Seven Hokage. It kind of looks like the Hokage robe, but instead it's all black and it actually has like a black hood. He then pulls out something that looks like a Shinigami mask. A black Shinigami mask. And of course, well, it was black, but of course the teeth were kind of red, like gold. Well, not red, gold. They're like kind of fiery red. Of course, Boruto, like, he grabs those things, he kind of puts it on. And of course, this is where, well, let me show you. So this is the mask that Boruto puts on. Now, of course, the teeth are red and the mask is actually black, but yeah, that's the only one I could find. Of course, Boruto puts that on his, like, face, so it, like, cover up his face and nose and so on. But it doesn't cover up his eyes, he just puts it on. of course, this is where he puts on the black cloak. But before putting on the black cloak, he pulls out some stuff out of, well, the box. Like armor. He puts on what's called like a kind of black t-shirt. But this isn't no normal t-shirt. It is somewhat like it's a black, of course it looks like a normal black t-shirt. But, not t-shirt. T-shirt, but of course it has some seals on it that Boruto found out what it is. But it also is an armor. It looks like, well, what's it called? What's it called? A mesh t-shirt? Was it? That's what I call it? No. It's a, what's it called? Like, it's kind of made out of very flexible metal. But of course, it's very heavy. Now, the seals are just for gravity seals on the t-shirt. Boruto buy it every, like, he buy a couple of pieces every time he got allowance. He didn't waste it because he's not much of a moron like in Real Canon, but yeah. Of course, this is where he puts on black pants. What's it called? Like dark black pants. And of course, this is where he also puts black steel boots and all that. And of course, if you really want to know what the coat kind of looks like, it looks like one of the Akatsuki robes and all that, but of course, it kind of also looks like Dobby's black leather coat. But yeah, of course, this is where Boruto says, "Whoever heard of my sister's dad, I'll kill him." This is where Boruto, he activates his dojutsu. And his dojutsu looks like, well, it kind of looks like what's it called, Benchmark's X and O. Yes. So, well, not X and O. He actually has multiple dojutsu, but you activate the X and O one. He actually has, well, a couple of dojutsu I'll mention later how they will kind of look like. But this is where Boruto, he snaps his hand and, what's it called? He snaps his, like, left hand. Like, just snaps. And, of course, fire appears. This is where he snaps it again and then extinguish. He can definitely, what's it called? Ignite flames or extinguish them. So, yeah. This is where Boruto says, "It is time." This is where Boruto, he's jumping around the village. He didn't, like, went to sleep or anything. He was still pissed. And, well, not pissed. He was still pissed. So, of course, he was right now jumping around. Looking around, trying to find any clues. Until he saw something jump across him. This is where Boruto, his eyes kind of tracked the figure that jumped kind of, away from him. Or across from him, mostly. It was somewhat with a kind of brownish cloak and a mask that kind of looks broken. Now, of course, this is Sumari, and Sumari is right now trying to get dark chakra and all that. Well, enough chakra so she can, like, give it to Nua. This is where Boruto follows, and of course, this is where Sumari realizes that someone's following her. This is where, well, Sumari kind of turns around and sees, well, the only thing she can see is a black, black hood and all that, like a black hooded figure and all that. Of course, it has black clothing and all that. But something that just terrifies her. A Shinigami mask. Like a kind of broken Shinigami mask. And you can't even see his eyes, because right now the cloak is kind of covering up his eyes. Like the hood. This is where, well, somebody does manage to see a little bit of the person's eyes. Cannot see the hair or anything. But she can see through the cloak. And it just shows this like reddish eye glow in the cloak. A little bit. This is where, well, somebody's right now terrified. Whoever this person is, this is not an ambush. This is not a, well, root ambush, because root ambush got dispelled a long time ago. Well, kind of just destroyed a long time ago because of how Sasuke killed Danto, but yeah. And of course, this isn't some ninja, because this ninja, she can't sense the chakra very well. It feels different from, well, she can barely sense it. But of course, for normal ninjas, any normal ninja will kind of have a little bit of chakra to kind of show that they are from the Leaf Village and they will be noticed. This Black Hood figure has not have any chakra leaking away from anything. She can barely sense it. This is where Boruto, he doesn't know this is summary, but he's pissed. And can only see that this figure right in front of him is probably the cause, because this figure is right now causing trouble a little bit. he saw some dark chakra leave her body to control someone. That's where, well, somebody realized that maybe this person's gonna try to stop her from doing any dark chakra or anything else. This is where Boruto appears and tries to near. This is where Samurai managed to dodge, and right now they're kind of fighting, Boruto and Samurai. Right now on the, well, roof. Now Samurai realized something. This person has black boots, black steel boots, and of course Samurai realized that she can't even see what to call the person's feet or anything. Everything is covered up. Also, Boruto's hands are covered up with black gloves. So yeah. So of course Samurai sees that this person is dangerous because she can't see anything. This is where one thing she managed to notice was, well, not really anything. The mask was kind of covering up his face and she couldn't really tell anything. Now, of course, this is where Boruto is trying to attack her until the Switch Samurai managed to make more commotion and people going in rage and all that because of the dark chakra. And this is where multiple innocent civilians were getting attacked by those like dark, dark chakra figures. And of course, there was no ninjas around, so of course Boruto had to stop attacking Samurai and had to kind of help the civilians. Because he is, well, trained to be a ninja, of course. But of course, he wants revenge on Hinawari, but at the same time, he doesn't want to, like, cause that much commotion from what's called attacking, this person. And of course, this is where Boruto still also wanted to kind of know who the fuck this person is. So of course, Boruto jumps down there really fast, without anyone even noticing that he was behind those like 4 figures. Boruto already knocked them out in an instant and went to the other ones, and just knocked out those other ones also. Boruto with his Jogan can see that those like dark chakra was already leaving that person's body. So Boruto says, "I see, so you're that bastard." He doesn't know if it's a girl or a guy, but he doesn't care. Now, of course, where Boruto, he goes towards back to his house, sees that Hinata isn't there, and he just takes off everything, puts it all in, well, not in the box, but he, like, brings out, what's it called, a scroll. He pulls a scroll from the box and seals everything in there, just in case he ever needs it to kind of go against the call, well, this kind of weird figure. Now, of course, he can't bring this kind of information towards Shikadai or anyone because he doesn't want to be found out neither. So, yeah. So, of course, the next day it happens. Of course, this is where Shikadai and the others would still kind of make that trap for that figure to come out of nowhere. And, of course, this is where, well, it works. And Boruto realizes it's the same figure that kind of, like, he found out. Of course, when they tried to attack him and all that, Boruto could not use his like full skills to kind of like attack the person. Of course, Boruto didn't even use flame attacks or anything against what's called Samurai in the beginning. So, of course, she escaped, but this is where Boruto still talked to Mitsuki, and if Mitsuki wanted to come and all that. So, of course, Mitsuki does go to his house, and of course, Hinwari is out of the hospital, and of course, it's her birthday, so of course, she wanted Naruto to come to her like birthday. It's like, yeah, or was it her birthday or was it someone else's birthday? I think it was Boruto's birthday. No, it's Hinwari's. Hinwari's or Bart? I can't remember. But of course they go, and of course is where, well, Naruto appears. Of course, it's only a clone, and he disappears faster than he appeared. But yeah. Of course, the commotion in the village is kind of happening. This is where Mitsuki does tell Boruto that Samurai, it's a the person that actually caused all that damage. This is where Mitsuki says, "I'm sorry, Boruto, but I need you," what's it called? He does make a snake clone and all that. And does like stop Boruto from moving because he knows maybe Boruto will stop him. And Boruto was too shocked to even move. So, of course, Mitsuki does kind of stop him from going anywhere close to Samurai, but yeah. Of course, Boruto doesn't move, and this is where the Mitsuki clone says, "I'm sorry, Boruto." This is where Boruto, he kind of growls. Of course, this is where Mitsuki clone was confused until Boruto bursts into blue flames and burning the clone. Of course, this is where the clone does dispels into snakes and kind of run away. But yeah, Boruto, he says, "So it's you, Samurai." Now, of course, this is where Boruto's eyes are right now in the what's it called O and X pattern. But this is where Boruto, he makes a clone, and this clone was kind of like wondering, well, not wondering, knowing what the plan was in Boruto's mind because they both share the same mind. Of course, this is where Boruto, he like pulls out a scroll, and of course he um he first kind of like puts it all on his clothing and all that, and he, well, not clothing, he first makes a clone. The clone kind of like kind of has the same scroll as like Boruto. He puts on his clothing, and of course Boruto nods and what the clone is going to do. But yeah, Boruto disappears, and of course is going towards Sumire. This is where Boruto, he did put on what's it called, his black shirt, his black pants, and his black steel boots, and he also kind of put on the Shinigami mask and the black hood and all that. So yeah. Of course, this is where, well, Mitsuki is right now fighting against Sumire, and Mitsuki says, "I'm sorry, Sumire, but I might have to kill you." This is where Sumire says, "You won't be able to kill me." Before Mitsuki and Sumire were about to clash and all that, this is where a black steel boot smashes into Mitsuki's head, smashing him into the wall, and Sumire jumped away, wondering, wait, that boot, could it be? The same figure appears right in front of her. This time the figure is, well, still has the hood and all that, but Sumire can still not see anything from him. This is where Mitsuki's knocked out because a black steel boot will kind of knock you the fuck out, right in the head. Boruto had to knock out Mitsuki, knowing the best place was in his head, but yeah. He's hoping that he didn't accidentally hurt Mitsuki that bad. But of course, he still didn't care that much. A little bit. He's still in rage against Sumire, but at the same time, he's not that rage. Explain why he's not in that much rage. But of course, this is where Sumire says, "Huh? Damn. Who are you, and why do you keep appearing out of nowhere?" She gets angry at this black figure, Boruto. He was about to lift his hood, but he knows that his clone is right now fighting against Noah. This is where what's called, when Naruto was kind of like, Naruto, the 7 Hokage, was right now putting in the barrier and all that, with what's called his ninjas to try to defend, well, stop Noah from going anywhere near the village. This is where Noah managed to break through one of the barriers, and this is where the black figure, Boruto's clone, appeared. That's where this Boruto clone goes to hand signs and says, "Summoning style." Something appears. This is where, what's it called? The ninjas kind of widen their eyes. A dog with 3 heads appeared. But of course, they all have red eyes. Burning red eyes. And of course, their mouth was like on fire. Of course, they also had like burning skin, but they were like roaring. And of course, something else poof. A horse, but was also on fire. This is where both of the animals rushes at Noah to kind of stop it from actually getting out of the barrier, kind of having to beat up on Noah. This is where, well, Naruto's confused. Who just summoned these animals? He knows everyone in the village doesn't have much of a summoning creature. He knows Konohamaru can only summon out a toad and even the what's called monkey contract, but these are 2 creatures that he never seen. Of course, they also have fire on them. He doesn't know what these are. This is where the black figure was right now on the horse fighting against Noah and all that. And of course, this is where the figure was sending fire from its mouth. Fire style. Fire bullets. Shooting at Noah. Noah managed to like absorb the chakra, but of course, even when absorbing the chakra, the fire was still hitting him in the face and all that. And of course, the horse and the dog are actually the same, almost the same height as the, what's it called? Well, as Noah. This is where Noah is trying to fight back, but of course it's losing against the dog and the horse. The horse is trying to stomp on the, what's it called? Well, Noah. Of course, Noah tried to use his, what they call, tail, until the dog uses his own tail, and his own tail is like this kind of like, it's this, well, it doesn't have fur and all that. It's like this bony kind of tail that was on fire, and it does the launches towards what's called Noel's own tail. And of course, Noel had to dodge. This is where the dog would turn in and out. But right now, kind of roaring at what's called, well, Noel. And Noel was like, right now, just growling at them. Now, we go back into Boruto and Summary. Summary is trying to fight against Boruto, trying to kick him, but Boruto blocks it with his arm from the kick and all that. And of course, this is where Boruto tries to kick at her, but this is where they're kind of equally matched. Of course, Summary cannot see what's under that mask, or under that face, or anything. She doesn't know who this person is. It seems like he's almost the same height as her. Now, wait, Summary can see that this person is similar height towards her. And of course, the only thing that she can think of is this could be Software kind of fighting her. But it doesn't actually understand. She's trying to think of who is fighting her. Because Mitsuki just got knocked out. But she doesn't understand because this person is similar height towards her. And definitely shown to be somewhat of a ninja. Ninja skills. This is where Summary is like, damn it. This is where Boruto's eye does glow. And it's the Jogan. And he does not know how to use the Jogan that much. But he does have it with his clone. His clone does have the Jogan also. I'm just gonna say the Jogan has like similar abilities to the Renegon and similar abilities to the Tentagon, because I'm actually gonna do it's kind of like the clone also has the activation of the Jogan, and Boruto can see from his eyes towards the clone's eyes, okay? Because well, a clone you usually dispel and you can now get the information, but this clone is now able to kind of share a link view of together. That's where Boruto knows how to activate it a little bit. He doesn't know how to activate that much, the Jogan. But right now he has it. And this is where the Jogan, well, the clone Boruto, saw the, well, what's it called? Well, the real Boruto saw how the commotion is acting up. And this is where Boruto, he now kind of, well, his clone acts and does the, what's called, ability of the Jogan. And if you remember that one time how it kind of looks like Kamui when Boruto teleports it into another dimension. Or into its own dimension, but yeah. That's what the clone does. Use it, well, teleports that, what's it called? New into the dimension. While what's it called? The clone, Boruto kind of, like, how should I say? He kind of just dispels the two summoning creatures while he just poofed away. And this is where Naruto realized that was only a clone. He doesn't know who this black figure is. And yeah. Well, this black figure that has like fire patterns in his kind of like cloak. So yeah. Of course, this is where Boruto, he is right now fighting on Summary, and he does make a dimension portal. Summary realized that, wait, that's no. She then says, take me no. Of course, this is where the snake kind of still grabs her and takes her into the dimension. Boruto realized that he needs to jump in so he can stop Summary. But yeah, he goes in, and of course, this is where he lands on his feet. Of course, he's looking around until Noel tries to attack him. Boruto jumps away from him. Right now, dodging him and easily ducking through him. This is where Boruto, he saw Noel was about to attack him with what's called his snake, until Boruto jumps up onto the tree. Until that like kind of rooted half cut tree and all that. And this is where Summary says, damn it, you black so you follow me into this dimension. Damn it. This is where Noel tries to get up. Well, not try to get up. He like tries to attack Boruto again. This is where Summary says, it seems that Noel really wants to kill you for being here. That's where Boruto, he then, what's it called? Noel's snake was about to hit him, like mid-air, until Boruto took off his black cloak. Of course, this is where Boruto ducked under. And of course, this is where Noel's snake kind of go past him. Until, Summary realized that this person already took off his like black cloak. Boruto bite through his like fingers, both of them, and went through hand signs real fast. And this is where Boruto was actually going down into the ground because he got off like the tree root and all that. Or not the tree root, the half cut tree, whatever it is. I don't remember what it is. Of course, this is where Summary saw that this person fell down. Of course, she didn't see the hair or anything. She just saw this figure went down. And no one after him. And this is where Boruto says, summoning style. Crimson. Oh. He says, not crimson. He says fire. Fire summoning. And of course, this is where a huge steam, well, mostly fire, appeared, and steam came after it. This is where Noah, when he was about just like to attack the person underneath and all that, about to jump over, this is when he was about to jump, a dragon flies up from the ground and grabs Noah, and then throws him towards like the wall. This is where the dragon roars. This is where, well, Sumeri realizes this is a fucking dragon. And this dragon shows his crimson red eyes slicked and looking towards Sumeri. Of course, this is where another mythical type of creature comes out. This time it's a mythical type. A phoenix has actually appeared and is right now in the air. The dragon is right now roaring. And the dragon's a legendary creature while the phoenix is a mythical creature. Now, of course, this is where both of them are kind of, well, screaming and all that, kind of roaring. And of course, this is where somebody says, what? A dragon? A phoenix? Who is this person? How is he this strong? This is where Boruto, he gets off the dragon because he was behind him. And this is where Boruto jumps onto the giant log and all that. The giant, yeah, it's a log. It's a cut tree, so it's a log, whatever. I don't care what it is. So, of course, this is where he jumps onto the platform. And this is where Boruto looks straight at Sumeri. And Sumeri sees who this person is. Boruto takes off his mask. He also did take off gloves because he needed to kind of summon him real fast. But yeah. Boruto, he takes off his mask. And he says, hey, Sumeri. Sumeri says, Boruto. She's right now shocked. This is where Boruto, he looks at Sumeri. Now, I should mention Boruto's height. He is not 4'9". In this kind of original canon, he's actually 5'1". He's pretty tall for being only 12. Or, yeah. This is where, well, not 4'9", not 5'1". Like 5'2.5", okay. He's actually taller than Sumeri, but yeah. Sorry, I keep burping. This is where Boruto looks at her. And of course, Boruto's eyes are a different color. They're right now into what they call Benchmar's eyes color. Basically, the O and X. This is where Boruto looks at her. And this is where Sumeri looks at him. Seeing the eye color. She kind of first thought of the Sharingan because her dad kind of did tell about the Sharingan and all that. But this is where Boruto's eyes were not the Sharingan. These eyes are going to be called the Extinguish and Igniter eyes for right now. Because, yeah. So the dojutsu from Boruto. This is where Boruto, he looks at Sumeri and Boruto says, so you are behind the attacks. You're the one to hurt my sister. Boruto said it in such a rage in his voice. This is where Sumeri was kind of scared. So the first figure that fought her was definitely Boruto. And now that Boruto knows of her identity, he can see that he's in pure rage. But the one thing that she's scared of most, Nue. Nue is right now fighting against a dragon that's taller than him and a phoenix that's kind of smaller than him but at the same time still pretty big. Of course, they are both beating the fuck out of Nue. This is where Boruto activates his Shogun, sees the weak point of what's it called, Nue on his tail, and this is where Boruto throws a kunai. Really fast that no one actually saw it, except for the dragons, because Boruto ignited flames behind the kunai that went super fast, and it hit right now Nue in like the tail. This is where Nue kind of screams until it got punched in the face and then got attacked by the phoenix with fire attacks. This is where Boruto says, it seems that your summoning creature is getting his ass beat. You know, it could get killed easily. Boruto said it in such a cold, murderous voice. This is where Sumeri got scared. This is where Sumeri says, well, you know that you're stopping my plans from destroying the Leaf Village. So, I'm gonna have to kind of kill you so you can move out of the way when I kill the League Village. I need to do this for my mission, and no one will stop me. My father always did tell me to destroy the Leaf Village, and I will. Boruto looks at her with just anger in his eyes. Not because it was what's it called, Sumeri's idea, but it was her own stupid father idea. So Boruto says, so, you're saying that your family was the one to kind of tell you to attack the village. Not your own idea, is it? This is where somebody says, but it is mine. Boruto says, shut up for a second. This is where somebody does. So your father was the one to do it. So, you're just following what he wants you to do. Why don't you just change your own goal? I'm guessing that your father's already dead. And I'm guessing you're just following what he tells you to do. That's what Boruto says. You know, it might have been his destiny to do it, but it's not your destiny to do it. Your destiny is whatever the fuck you want to do. This is where Sumeri kind of like winding her eyes, because what's it called? Boruto said it in such a harsh way, but of course it does remind her of like what's it called, her mother and all that, and like telling her she can do whatever and all that. And of course, Sumeri is kind of crying a little bit because she's now remembering about her mother. And of course, her seal is kind of breaking. And this is where Boruto, he kind of walks closer. This is where Boruto, he looks at her with his eyes, and she looks at him with her own eyes. And this is where Boruto says, like I said, destiny and fate doesn't matter to us. We can always change it. You can be weak of your destiny and fate, or you can be strong. You can change whatever it is. You don't need to always listen to those who are older than you. They don't know anything. You are the one to know it, and you're the one to, well, do it. It's your choice, not the person who told you to do it. That is not the true way of life. Actually, I don't even know the true way of life, Boruto said. But it's all if you wanted to. If you want to continue this damn mission because of your father, then go ahead. But if you want to live like yourself and not attack the village or anything, and you just want to live normally, then do that. Other than that, I don't really care. Boruto gets ready to, well, kind of send a, like, flame attack, because Boruto did ignite flames in his hand when he was talking about it. And this is where Sumeri kind of remembers everything about her mother and all that. And this is where her seal fully breaks. And this is where she starts kind of crying. This is where Boruto, he extinguished the flame and kind of went towards her. This is where Boruto kind of hugs her and says, it's okay, I guess. This is where somebody starts crying onto him. And this is where Boruto says, this is dumb. This is where Boruto, he doesn't know much about, well, the opposite gender that much, because he's only a 12-year-old kid. But at the same time, he's a genius at the same time. In his own Kenkai of fire, or his, what's it called? Well, yeah, his own, like, ability to fire. This is where Boruto noticed one thing. A rock started breaking, so the dimension was cracking. That's where the dragon Phoenix says, my lord. Well, not my lord. They says, Boruto, it seems the dimension is breaking. We must be leaving now. Boruto nodded and says, you two can go. This is where, well, the Phoenix stands safe before they leave. Do you not want to come with us? We can, reverse summon you back into your world. Boruto says, it's fine. I can get out of here my own. This is where both the Phoenix and Dragon leaves. And this is where, well, Boruto sends a wave of flame from any, like, rocks or, like, rubble from hitting him. Or Sumeri. And Sumeri saw his power of flame. And this is where Boruto then he then kind of grabs both his hands and kind of, like, makes flames into his hands. Kind of starts shaping it into making arrows. Shooting it at multiple rubbles kind of blowing it all up. This is where Boruto then grabs Sumari from, well, like Brian's house, and this is where Boruto says, we might have to get out of here. This is where Noah kind of gets up. Of course, it's kind of wounded a little bit. But this is where Boruto kind of heals away his flame. Since Boruto, his flames, okay, Boruto might have just orange and blue flames, but he also has different color flames. This is where Boruto shoots green flames at Noah, and it, of course, heals him. This is where Boruto says, are you okay there? This is where Sumari does kind of look at Noah, seeing that it's fully healed. Noah kind of looks at Sumari and kind of just like doesn't really want to destroy the village neither. And of course, he basically follows Sumari's like goal and everything, but now it's all changed. This is where, well, both Sumari and Boruto goes onto Noah, and of course, this is where they get onto that one ledge. Of course, a bunch of robots falling. Of course, some of the robot actually hits with the car Noah, and well, they kind of, well, Sumari was about to scream until Boruto kind of grabs her from the hand. Boruto managed to activate his Jogan, makes a dimension, and this is where Boruto can see that dark chakra kind of going towards Sumari, and this is where Boruto says, look at your hand. This is where she says, it's no. Of course, this is where Sai appears, but this is where Boruto, he kind of like puts on a Genjutsu really fast before Sai can appear. And this is where Boruto looks like this for right now. This is where Sumari was confused until Boruto just kind of told her to shush. This is where Sumari nodded, and this is where Sumari does go with Sai. This is where Boruto says, Sir not Boruto. Boruto dispels the, what's it called, Genjutsu, and Boruto leaves. So Boruto goes back home. Now, of course, this is where he realizes about Mitsuki and says, shit. When he gets to the spot, Mitsuki was already out of the crater, and yeah. This is where Boruto says, interesting. But of course, this is where Boruto, he still has his mask and his cloak on. This is where when he goes back home, takes it all off, and still puts it in the scroll, and just like gets ready to go to sleep. The next day happens, and Boruto's right now kind of like, this is where, well, Boruto the next day he wakes up. Of course, Boruto, he decides to change himself for a little bit. Well, change himself back to what he was like when he was fighting against Sumari. Kind of like acting like his actual real personality. So his real personality is not to be kind of go-lucky a little bit, or kind of just depressed a little bit. He just kind of acts similar to Benjamaro's a little bit, personality. But yeah. Of course, this is where Boruto, he kind of like puts on different clothing from his like pinkish, blackish jacket or anything. He does put on black pants, black sandals, and even with the car, well, a black t-shirt and a black jacket that had some like, what's it called? Well, not a black jacket, a black coat. But a black coat, like what's it called, Dawi, and yeah. He gets towards what they call the school, and of course they're having like this practice exam or whatever. And of course this is where Mitsuki and Boruto are going against the god Shikadai, Chojo, and even what's it called, Inuichi? Inuichi. Of course, or Inujin, mostly Inujin, not Inuichi. Inujin. And of course everyone is wondering why Boruto changed clothing. Of course Sadara also wonders, but yeah. Of course, this is where all of them are right now, just like saying, okay, well, first match will be what they call Boruto Mitsuki versus what they call Shikadai and Chojo and Inujin. Of course, this is what Inujin is, well, Inujin and Chojo right now fighting against the cop. Mitsuki, while Boruto is fighting against Shikadai. Now, Boruto is showing to be having more skills and being more flexible and dodging multiple, like the Shadow Paralysis Jutsu. Boruto's dodging it. And of course, Boruto appears right in front of what they call Shikadai's guard and uppercuts him. This is where Shikadai realizes that Boruto is way faster than normal. This is where he then lands on his feet, but this is where Boruto sweeps his legs, grab him from the arm, and like was about to punch him, but of course stopped the punch from hitting him right in the face. So yeah. Of course, this is where, well, Boruto says, you know, Shikadai, it's kind of dumb of you to kind of like what's it called, stay in one place. And definitely your shadow paralysis jutsu will be useless if the person doesn't stand still. So where Shikadai is shocked, but Baruto then lets go of him. And this is where Baruto goes, gets the what's called flag, and Shikadai, he says too much of a drag and he won't fight against Baruto. Inuchina and what's it called, Chojo right now knocked out also by Mitsuki, and Baruto grabs the flag. This is where, well, a couple of minutes happens later. Of course, everyone is done with like their missions. Well, not missions, mostly the kind of to see if their teamwork and all. And of course, Sadara is right now just talking to what's called Baruto and Mitsuki, or mostly Mitsuki, but Baruto wasn't paying attention. And of course, people are right now wondering where's Samurai at. Now, of course, this is where Baruto did try to talk to his father about Samurai, and this is where with Naruto was saying that he can't really do much, and he would just try his best. Of course, this is where Samurai does come back, and of course, does kind of tell everyone that hello and all that. Of course, everyone is happy, and yeah, of course, Samurai sees Baruto. Baruto just like gives out a genuine smile. This is where she kind of also smiles at Baruto. This is where Baruto kind of just like, he noticed one thing. Baruto kind of goes, he kind of looks away from Samurai for a second and sees an Anbu. This Anbu is right now looking at what's called everyone, and this is where he kind of spots Baruto until Baruto disappears from his eye view. That's where, well, the Anbu's confused until Baruto appears right behind him. This is where Baruto says, so, did my dad send you to kind of spy on me or to spy on what's it called, Samurai? This is where the Anbu is shocked. This is where the Anbu was about to leave until Baruto grabbed him from the neck and smashed him down to the ground. Well, mostly not his neck, from his head to smash him down to the ground. This is where the Anbu's mask gets broken and then he falls down, passing out. Baruto says, idiot. This is where Baruto, he then realized something. He can get rid of the Anbu. He can just burn it. This is where Baruto's thinking of burning it. Of course, this is where Samurai, she managed to get away from everyone and notice where Baruto went. This is where Baruto says, maybe I should end your life, pathetic life. This is where Baruto was about to ignite flames, which he does. And he was about to like throw his, like shoot a flame blast at what's called this person. Until Samurai says, don't, Baruto. This is where Baruto extinguishes the flames and looks behind him and says, Samurai, why are you here? This is where Samurai says, I know where you went. Don't kill the Anbu. He knows a little too much. And I kinda just show off a little way too much normal. I gotta get rid of him. No one should know my identity. This is where Samurai says, please don't. Baruto says, fine. Fine, I won't do it. This is where Samurai says, thank God. And this is where Samurai says, come on, let's just go back to the classroom, okay? So Baruto says, fine. But we go into a couple of like week time skip. Now, of course, Sadara does go find her father and all that. And Baruto is right now just kind of just like around the village until someone appears. Someone with a black, like a full-on black cloak, a mask that is like a what's called a black mask, and of course black gloves and all that. And is right now terrorizing the village, while Naruto and Sasuke are out of the village. Of course, this is where Konohama tries to fight against this person, but of course loses. Anyone that gets close sees that what's called, they kind of perish away a little bit. As it were, well, they like become old and then die. This is where Baruto realizes the commotion is happening. This is where Baruto puts on his like cloak and all that real fast, so no ninjas will actually know that it's Baruto. Until, well, something spots Baruto's eyes. Something that widened his eyes. This person is right now holding Hinawari hostage, and Konohama is trying to do something. Shino is also there and trying to do something. Morigi is also there trying to kind of help Konohama kind of save Hinawari. But of course, they can't do anything. This person has her hostage, and Hinawari is saying, please, don't hurt me. This is where she's kind of wanting what's called her mom or her aunt to do something. Hanabi's also there, but she thinks she's not fast enough to do anything. Because every time they try to hurt this person disappears. And from away from them, and just like appears behind them. So of course they can't really touch this person. It's like if this person is intangible, but the only person that they can think of is Obito, but Obito's dead. Or Konohamaru can think of the Masked Man, but he's dead. Not Konohamaru, mostly Shino, of like what they call that Masked Man named Obito. But of course, knowing that Obito's dead, he died in the Great Shinobi War. This war, well, Boruto, he's right now pissed. He doesn't like anyone touching his sister, and especially having her hostage. This war, well, the person says, the Masked Man says, you will all pay to what you did to me. This is where Hinawari says, please let me go. This is where the person takes shut before he can even do anything. He then almost gets like kicked in the face, like a what's it called, a roundhouse kick to the head. This is where he managed to like dodge while letting go of Hinawari, and this person grabs Hinawari. This is where, well, the roundhouse kicks misses what you call the person with the black figure. Of course, the black cloak and all. And of course, this person with a black cloak appears with red flames on his like cloak. Yes, this is Boruto. Boruto sees Hinawari, and Hinawari's scared from Boruto. But this is where Boruto, he takes off his like, what's it called? He takes off his cloak and gives it to Hinawari. And this is where Boruto, he has his Shinigami mask. And of course, where he is wearing what I mentioned about, like his clothing and all that. And Boruto says, you know, it's very rude of attacking my sister like that. This is where everyone widened their eyes, seeing Boruto. Boruto in this different clothing. Now, of course, he does have a black t-shirt I didn't mention, but he also does have a black, coat underneath the cloak. But yeah. As where Boruto, he says, no one touches my sister. This is where, well, the person says, who cares? I don't care if it's her sister or not. He rushes at Boruto. Boruto dodges an attack from the figure. And Boruto kind of like puts his he kind of goes down. And of course, puts his hand down on the ground and tries to kick at the person. And of course, this is where the person manages to dodge. And of course, that happens for a couple of minutes. They are both clashing. Boruto kind of uses his his arm, and the other person did clash with his own arm at Boruto. It kind of looks like if Sasuke and Naruto were clashing in the end of the valley, or the valley of the end. So yeah. Of course, this is where Boruto and the person right now clashing, kicking, dodging, blocking every time, and yeah. Of course, the cloak figure says, it seems you're equally in power, but you won't be able to defeat me. I won't be defeated by you. This is where he uses the jutsu to kind of disappear from Boruto's view and appears behind him. And this is where Boruto sends Boruto snaps his fingers and fire appears, and then Boruto sends a wave of fire behind him. This is where the cloak figure widens his eyes, dodges of fire by kind of using his jutsu to kind of get away from it. Of course, he tries to go intangible, but of course the fire hits him. Ugh! This is where he would widen his eyes, wondering how. So, this person's jutsu, I will mention how it actually works. Boruto realized it also. Boruto realized that his fire is able to hit this person because this fire is made out of light. It's like light. This person's attacks, any attack that this person tries to get cannot be hit because this person is actually using darkness into kind of covering up his body. You can't really hit darkness with a physical attack. You can only hit it with a light attack. So of course, Boruto's actually able to damage this person. This is where the person widened his eyes and realized that Boruto's flames are able to hit him. But this is where the one thing that hits widen his eyes is the fact that Boruto just snapped his fingers to send fire at him. Everyone will widen their eyes. That's where Hinawari is right now seeing her brother kind of fight against this person. This is where Boruto says, interesting. So that's what your jutsu is. So that's what your jutsu is. This is where Boruto's eyes are right now in the circle and X, which everyone is seeing that Boruto has a dojutsu that is not the Byakugan. Widen their eyes some more. This is where the person says, Your eyes are strange and different. And they're interesting. For being the Hokage's son, I know damn much who you are. Having yellow hair. Yes, I know who you are. But I never known that what's it called? Seven Hokage had a strange sojutsu. Or you could be the only one. Boruto says, let's not talk about my father. I don't care about him. That's where Boruto rushes at him, sending more flames at, the person, but this time just snapping fingers and sending multiple, flame bullets at what's called the person. And the person is managing to dodge, or trying to, because those flame bullets are coming pretty fast at him. And of course are exploding behind him. This is where this person kind of rushes at Boruto, tries to hit him with a punch in the face at Boruto. Boruto managed to block it, and then uppercut was going to happen until Boruto dodges that and knee this person in the stomach. Of course, this is where Boruto's physical attack kind of went through him. This is where both the person and Boruto right now kind of fighting. This is where, the person says, you realize that your, attacks aren't going to hit me if you realize that light cannot, darkness can't really be hit physically. So you're going to have to use all them fire attacks, which it will take you some time. This is where Boruto looks at him, and Boruto doesn't look impressed against this person until this person then rushes at him trying to punch him, and when he punches Boruto, his punch kind of goes through, but of course burn his hand. This is where everyone widened their eyes. Boruto's body just went intangible, if it was fire, if it was made out of fire. Yes, Boruto's body can actually turn into fire like Ace. This is where Boruto turns around and sends a wave of flames at this person. This person widened his eyes and had to dodge but could not. Gets hit by the flames, and of course his cloak is getting burned. Well, you can't really tell if it's getting burned or not because it's black, but yeah. Of course, he's feeling the heat. He's like, so Boruto realized that this person needs to do, doesn't really need hand signs to he doesn't need hand signs to go into tangible, but of course, this is where the person kind of lands down and says, I see. So you're like me. I see. Someone so special. Being in this village. Amazing. I wish I had your life. This is where Boruto says, you probably wouldn't even want my life. I hate my life. This is where, everyone is looking at Boruto. And of course, this is where one of the person says, you would hate my life too. This is where Boruto says, why are you doing this anyway? This is where the person says, you wouldn't understand. This is where Boruto says, try me, motherfucker. This is where the person says, fine. The reason why I'm doing this is because of my little sister. She got in sickness. A sickness that I don't even know what to do with. I'm not a medical ninja, and my abilities aren't anything for medical. Boruto says, then why don't you bring her to Konoha? I did, but they tried to overcharge me and kick me out, and also tried to put her into an actual family. I'm not trying to lose my sisters to some villagers or whatever bullshit. This is what Boruto says. Where is your sister right now? She's somewhere, and I don't care if I die. I'm gonna be with her. If I die, if she dies, I die too. I don't care. Boruto had his hands into fire, of course, was about to attack him, until Boruto turns him off. This is where Boruto then goes up to the person, because the person was right now on the ground. And of course, this is where Boruto kind of puts his hands towards the person, and Boruto says, then I'm willing to help your sister. I think I know how to help your sister. My flames aren't just by attacking. I can also heal people with my flames. So, I'm willing to help you. This is where the person widens his eyes and says, but why? I just attacked your village. Yes, you did attack my village, but you didn't hurt my sister, so I really wouldn't care that much. This is where everyone goes dumbfounded what the fuck? Boruto says, really, the only thing I care is my sister. Anything else? Not really. I don't really care. This is where the person widens his eyes says, so you also care about your sister. I see. This is what Boruto says. But since you did attack Konoha, you will also kind of have to be under watch. If I help your sister, you have to turn yourself in. This is where the person says, I'll do it. Just to see my sister be happy again. This is where Boruto says, good, then let's go. This is where, well, the person says, fine. This is where he makes a darkness portal. A darkness portal. And of course, this is where he goes in, and of course, Boruto follows on. Until Gunarmer says, Boruto, no! Darkness portal, like, closes behind him. This is where Boruto sees what's called this person's sister. This girl with kind of black hair. And of course, bag in her eyes, because she has like bags of like lost sleep and all that. But of course, she's like sweating and kind of trying to turn in the like bed and all that. Like it's a maid. It's like a. This bed is kind of like a makeshift bed and all that. Like this person just kind of has limited resources and couldn't really make a good bed and all that. And this is where Boruto, he goes towards her. This is where Boruto, he goes through hand signs. Well, first bite his like thumb and all that, and goes through hand signs. This is where the person says, what are you doing? Boruto says, even if my flames will be able to heal her, it won't be able to heal her much. This is where Boruto says, summoning style. Fire animal, phoenix. This is where a phoenix appeared. A small one that doesn't look like it's gonna burn the whole place down. Because they're like, somewhat, this place is not, it's like, a tree house somewhat this place is from. And this is where the phoenix kind of just lands on Boruto's kind of shoulder and all that. And this is where Boruto says, hey, what's it called? Let me call him something. Boruto says, hey, Sean. Sean says, yes, Boruto? Can you help me heal her? This is where Sean says, yes, Phoenix, of course. Since, you know, phoenixes are good to heal people and anyone that needs help. So, this phoenix is like a medical phoenix bird type. Now, of course, there's fighter phoenixes. There's the phoenix boss, like the boss leader and all that. And there's this healer phoenix. This is where Boruto says, good, can you help me out? Yes, but you will also have to use Sage Mode to kind of like heal her. Boruto says, I got it. So where, well, Boruto kind of like goes down, sit down on the ground, kind of like puts his legs crossed, and put both of his hands together, and kind of focus and using Sage Mode. Well, not a Sage Mode. It's a Sage Mode, but it's not like for a fighter and all that. He's kind of like using Sage Mode. Of course, they're kind of outside, but inside like a treehouse and all that. Like this person kind of like had it to build. And of course, this is where Boruto, he focused enough chakra into his body that his eyes, they kind of like orange lines appeared, but of course they turned green. Of course, Boruto's hair started lighting like green flames. This is where Boruto has both of his hands go green flames also. The phoenix, I should also mention, the color of the phoenix, it is not red, it is green. This is where Boruto, he then touches the girl, like in her head and all that. Like removes the little tower and of course start healing her with flames. Igniting her body with the green flames. This is where, what's it called? This person, I should call him Void. He was about to react because he did say his name was Void when he was fighting against everyone. And of course, this is where Boruto says, calm down, I'm not hurting her. This is where the girl kind of just, she doesn't turn much, she started calming down. The sweat on her, what's it called, body started to stop. Also, she started to open her eyes, and the bag in her eyes started healing to kind of be normal. And she opened her eyes being a kind of reddish, well not reddish, a kind of like dark purple color. This is where she said, brother? This is where her voice said, oh, sis, are you okay? This is where Boruto lets go of the healing process. And of course, this is where Boruto is fully complete on healing her. The third of Phoenix says, that's good, what's it called? That's good, Boruto-sama. This is where Boruto needed, what's called, Sun to kind of use Sage Mode. Because you need a specific animal to kind of, well, help you in the Sage Mode. he needed it, and healing was called using his flames to his healing flames to increase. That's why Bard. So his eyes are also green color, I should mention, but of course they go back to blue. So where Bard just says, "So Void, do you want to keep your end of your bargain?" That's where Void says, "Yes." This is where Bard just says, "You don't have what you say yes." This is where Void says, "I did too much terrible things. I feel sorry." This is where Bard just says, "Don't worry, I can lower down with call. I can try to lower down your sentence and whatever. Or I can just break you out or something. I don't really care." This is where Void's sister kind of says, "Wait, what are you doing, what's it called? This is where the girl was like, "What are you doing, Yamato?" Yeah, his name, well, not Yamato, his name is Yami. She says, "What are you doing, Yami?" This is where the person takes off his mask and says, "I made a deal just to kill you, so of course I have to finish that end of the bar, little sis Kazuki." This is where Kazuki is now the girl's name. Now, of course, this person does take off his mask, and he has two different color eyes. One is a dark blue, while the other is a dark red. Well, not dark red. Actually, yeah, dark red. And of course, he just looks at what they call the person, well, Bart, and says, I will end up I'll do my end of the bar, or the bet, or whatever, the deal. This is where, Barto sighs and says, "Sure, then let's go." Barto activated his Jogan because he found out how to kind of train about it a little bit, but yeah. Of course, this is where, they kind of go back to the village, and of course, they kind of end up at, the Hokage office. This is where, Shikadai is right now in the Hokage office and kind of doing the paperwork, knowing damn well that Naruto's somewhere Barto, he doesn't know where it is, but this is where a portal appears, and this is where Ambos were about to just jump out until, Shikadai tells him to stop, and this is where three people appeared. Barto, the person now known as Void, being Yami, and of course the last one being his sister. Boruto explains to Shikamaru about how this person is Void, the person that was kind of attacking the village, only because he wanted to kind of kill himself to kind of die with his sister. This is where Shikadai kind of sighs, and this is where, he then says that those people weren't as terribly as they were hurt. Luckily, Sakura helped them, and that's where Boruto nodded. That's where, Shikamaru says, Void, or with Kayami, your sentence would be, to join the academy. This is where Yami widened his eyes and wonder why. Shikamaru says, because your talents are very good, even though you were not trained to be a ninja or anything. You're clearly really good and could actually easily be ninja, or joining in in the future. Just like here, Boruto, who'd never shown his skills, can also be close to gaining level. This is where Boruto kind of just scratches his cheek and says, you're right. This is where Shikamaru says, by the way, Boruto, we might need to talk to you and, with your father about how you kind of hide your skills. Huh? Don't know what you're talking about, Boruto said. Kind of just trying to act dumb. This is where Shikamaru says, whatever. But yes, you are not going to be sentenced to prison or anything. Since here you met Boruto, so I guess we can't really until Boruto wouldn't knock one of our Ambos out. Boruto says, shit, I forgot about that Ambo. That's where that Ambo comes in, and the Ambo just says, why did you knock me out? I wasn't even doing anything wrong, Boruto. Baruto-sama. This is where Baruto says, I'll do it again. This is where the person tries to like get away from Baruto, and they almost were about to jump in. Until Shikamaru says, please, no trouble in this goddamn room. This is where, well, Void then asks, well, Yamato, now known, says, what about where will we live? This is where Shikamaru says that is true. This is where Baruto says, at the Hyuga compound for right now. Until you will become a ninja and get money, you can live in the Hyuga compound for right now, or with us, but it's fine. This is where Void Yami says, Yami says, thank you, Baruto. That's where, well, Baruto says, no problem, man. That's where Katsuki says, thank you. That's where Baruto says, yeah, no problem. That's where Shikamaru says, okay, now if you can guys leave, I have to do more paperwork because your father left it all onto me. This is where Baruto says, you know you can do clones, right, to do this paperwork. Or was I the only one not to figure that out, right? Shikamaru says, oh, you're right, Baruto. He makes clones and just like, he does like 2 clones because he can only make 2 clones. And of course Shikamaru says, okay, you 2 do that while I'm gonna relax. So, of course, Shikamaru's right now relaxing, and yeah. Here's where, what's it called, Baruto says, so, Shikamaru, can you not tell my father about that technique? Because I feel like he's gonna be an idiot and not use it for the right things. This is where Shikamaru says, I don't really get paid enough for this, so, maybe. That's where Baruto says, I say, fine. Of course, this is where Baruto does go to the Hyuga compound, and this is where Hiyashi, Hinabi, Hinata, and even what's called Hinawari are there. Hinawari is still wearing what's called what Baruto was kind of wearing. The black cloak, and of course the Shinigami mask. Of course, yes, Baruto does wash all his clothing, and yeah. In secrecy, but yeah. So of course, it's all clean while Hinawari's wearing it. Of course, Hinawari kind of likes the cloak and doesn't really like the mask, but of course just wears it until they kind of see Baruto again. Baruto opens the gate, and this is where both what's called Yami and what's called actually no, that's their last name. The last name are Yami, while what's called this person's first name is Void, or actually Void in Japanese. I forgot what it was, but I remember searching it up. Of course, Katsuki is right now saying, hello, is there anyone here? And of course, where Hawari and the others kind of go out to see Baruto with, what's it called, 2 other people. One of them has a black cloak and has his mask on his like head and all that, while the other one kind of has like a black shirt and a like kind of pants. Yeah, they're like torn and ripped, but yeah. This is where Hinawari says, huh? Who are you? Or Baruto, you're back. She says, big brother, you're back. Mr. Baruto says, yeah, also, kind of scary if you wear that. Mr. Hinawari kind of takes off the mask and gives it to Baruto and says, wait, who are you? She looks at the girl with kind of black hair and purple eyes. This is where Katsuki says, oh, my name is Katsuki Yami. This is where the older one says, my name is Void Yami. This is where both Hinabi, Hinata, and even Hiyashi gets on guard until Hinawari kind of puts a cloak around the girl and says, you seem tired and hungry. Do you want to eat with us? This is where, well, Baruto says, calm down, all 3 of you wait. He explains he explains to Shikamaru, and of course they all calm down. And of course, where, well, Hiyashi kind of says, fine, they can stay in the compound for however long. Baruto says, good, thank you. That's where, well, Hinabi says, Baruto, I want to know one thing. How strong are you? Baruto says, what do you mean how strong I am? I'm only civilian level. Yeah, I'm civilian level. That's where Baruto had to bullshit himself way out until Hinawari says, but you're not civilian level. your body can easily any punches that would try to hurt you, you can easily phase through them using your body turning into fire. And you can use fire while any hand sign here where we kind of like talks about it because she's so happy to know that her brother's very strong. That's where Boruto says, that's where Hanabi looks at him and says, come on, Boruto, spar with me a little bit. Boruto does, and of course Boruto's easily defeating what's it called, Hanabi, by kind of using flames. And of course, anytime Hanabi tries to use the gentle fist to attack what's it called, Boruto, her attacks kind of go through him, like phasing through him, and this is where Boruto then uses blue flames to attack her. This is where Hanabi widened her eyes. Of course, she does have burnt marks, but this is where Boruto sends green flames at her to heal her body. This is where Hanabi widened her eyes. Boruto explains that his flames are kind of different. He does have potent, kind of reddish and blue flames, and other flames that can, the increase of the different flame color, like black or white. And this is where Hiyashi says, have you gone that far? No. Boruto says, my body won't be able to handle using white or black flames, so I don't go that far. Green flames I can kind of use to heal people. This is where, Hiyashi says, interesting. How many flame abilities do you have? Boruto names out that he can go through normal flames, flame color, what's called a reddish flame to look, kind of hotter flame from the normal flames to a kind of reddish kind of color, a red color, to blue flames, to what's called purple flames, to crimson red flames. Then, he can't go to crimson red flames or purple. He can only use blue to kind of those three basic ones. He then says that he can have green flames to kind of heal people. And he can also, ignite them or extinguish them kind of with his eyes. He showed up his kind of dojutsu. And then he says that, he can also use other flames, like flames called chill flames. Something called chill flames. That's where Hiyashi says, what is that? They are kind of like blue flames, but a less kind of like a lightish more color. These flames allows me to burn and freeze at the same time. Hiyashi says that's broken. That's absolutely broken. What the hell? Are you saying my grandson is that powerful? Wait, what about water style or anything? Can you still use it even though your fire is so potent? Boruto says, I have no clue. Don't ask me. I just know I can use fire ever since I learned about it. So where Hiyashi says, very interesting, very interesting. Okay, then let's just celebrate. Knowing now that my grandson has a very powerful Keke Kenkai of fire, I guess? Boruto says, sure, why not? This is where, this is where I'm going to leave it off for part 1 of what if Boruto was a fire user. Yes, no, this was not an April Fool's one. And yes, I don't know. Besides, April Fool's kind of already passed and it's been like 6 days, okay? Or 7 days. 7 days, yeah, okay. But have a nice potato day, potato night, potato seed, potato, and yeah, potato. But yeah, potato.